Hi everyone, today's episode is about glucose, your body's fuel and mood driver. Before we dive into this video, a quick disclaimer. This video is based on my personal experience and findings. I'm not a doctor and this isn't medical advice. I also don't have diabetes. My blood sugar levels are normal range, but I wanted to see how different foods, glucose levels affected my energy, mood, and overall performance. That said, I do work with clients that are type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and their responses to food and glucose management, with the tips and tricks that we've learned throughout this, have really, helped, especially during the hormonal cycle. My glucose really does matter to me. Did you know that your glucose levels directly impact how you feel, your functionality throughout the day? So here's what I found. My mood, my stable blood sugar levels, really, I was in a good mood at that point. But if I dropped lower, that's when I became irritable. I had irritability, anxiety, and different mood swings, really. My energy, depending on my glucose levels, was around how much, go-getter attitude, I can do attitude. It really depended on where I was sitting with my glucose levels, and I was kind of peering that through the monitor and through the app. Um, I wore a glucose monitor for 2 weeks while eating intuitively. There was no calorie counting, no strict tracking, just a balanced diet with sweet treats here and there. Here's what I learned. So I learned that large meals really included, like heavier, dense carbs gave me a big energy dip. The bigger the portion sometimes caused my glucose to drop quite rapidly after, making me feel quite sleepy. Refined sugars had delayed cravings. So I was eating, let's say, some Haribo, and then 2 hours later, I would get the spike of cravings of wanting more. And that was a bit of a surprise to me. I expected it to be quite quick. Walking after meals really helped. So every time I had like breakfast, I'd walk the dog after, evening meal, I walked the dog after, and that really helped balance my glucose levels. Just a short walk made a noticeable difference and brought them down and leveled them out. Eating frequently for me really did matter. On days when I left 4 to 5 hours without food, being really busy, I ended up having larger portions and felt hungrier when I did come down to sit at that meal. It really helped having a mid-morning like fruit or nut snack. My advice would be don't go those long periods of time without food, because that's when you need those bigger portions. Breakfast wise, I found a savory breakfast worked better for me, like sourdough and eggs or yogurt. If I started the day with refined carbs, like a crumpet, I'd see a quick spike, and I was quite hungry a little bit later after. It didn't have so much protein, so it wasn't getting digested and didn't have the right nutrition for that day. So I was a little bit hungrier. If my glucose dropped really, really low throughout the night, I'll drop a picture in here. I felt like I needed my lunch at about 11:30 a.m. And that was actually a interesting thing to see. And I really noticed that if I ate meals at 4:30 and had a real big gap until the morning, I'd also be hungrier as well. So eating around 5:30 p.m. and avoiding snacks after before bed was a really good optimal time for me. Let's talk about late night eating. So I would get a spike through the night, which I'll drop a picture in, for late night eating and kind of causing disrupted sleep, which we all know. Things that did help was taking apple cider vinegar in the morning, a small little cap of apple cider vinegar in some water or in your greens powder really did seem to help, and it helps a lot with my diabetic clients as well. You can see a big, big difference. Another thing what I learned was how fast I eat makes a difference. This was a real big shock to me. Before having children, I would say I ate at a moderate, maybe slow pace. Now I rush my meals because, well, parenting. I saw a clear difference between fast eating and a blood sugar spike rather than the following day when I really made a decision to slow things down and the spike was a lot lower. So, same meal, but just eating it at a different pace, completely different glucose response. So the ideal glucose range for me, I felt best was about 5 mol. Anything under 5, I felt really tired, distracted, constantly thinking about food. Anything over 8, I got strong cravings, in that bit of a, sodic mode. And I really wanted to eat more, more, more because I'd hit that dopamine level. Order of eating really did matter. One day I ate carbs first, then fats, and then protein, and it caused a big, big spike and me wanting more. The next day I flipped it, had the greens, then the proteins, then the fats, and the carbs last, and the spike was totally different, more moderate, and a lot more satisfied. So this lines up with what I've seen in my diabetic clients. In order for food to really help support you on your journey, pairing the carbs with the fats helps. So if you're going to have like oats paired with peanut butter, an apple with some nuts or things like that, or a bit of dark chocolate, helps balance those chemicals in the body and helps digestion. Really, really does help with those glucose levels and you not getting that slump. This experiment really did make me aware of the food that I eat and how much it affects my mind and body. When you are a parent or you live a busy life and you're working full time, you're not always thinking about the choices. So sometimes I wasn't hungry, but I was boredom eating. So instead of grabbing a snack, I decided to move my body, and I played hide and seek with Archie, and I really did just like 15 minutes move without eating and boredom eating, and the changes were so much different. I actually got a glucose little increase on the app for me doing that movement, which was it's quite shocking that you don't have to just get glucose spikes from food, you can get it from movement as well. And yeah, that was really, really interesting for me. So those were my findings. I wanted to do it as quick as possible, punchy impact for you. Obviously, my experience, no one else's. So if you got any questions, I'm gonna do it again in a couple of months and see what else I can find out. I'll write the tips and tricks that I found about walking after your meals, etc., and the apple cider vinegar and how best to take it. I'll write them down and put them below. And if you've got any questions for the next one, then please do just drop me a message. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts and have a lovely day.